Hello, Internet. I heard that you've been making music lately and it's not good. Man, I'm sorry to hear it. But this is coming from you. These are your words. So you should probably just start making bad music on purpose because when you try really hard to make something that you like and make something good, it doesn't come out good. It comes out bad. So maybe if you make bad music, it'll come out good. Let me explain. Okay. So starting a song is really important. Whether you make beats, whether you play guitar, whether you do vocals, whatever you do to write music, obviously starting is crucial because that's going to set the tone for how the song goes. But it doesn't have to be that way because if you start something, sometimes you have an idea that at first you're really inspired by and it sounds really good in your head. And then when you start making it, it kind of starts to turn into something else. So, whatever you do in the beginning doesn't really have to be how it ends up. If you have a singular vision in your head that you're trying to replicate to an exact level, that doesn't always work. Sometimes it does, but for me personally, it doesn't really work. So, something that I like to do, there's different ways to approach this. Start a song idea with something that you don't even plan on keeping in the future. The easiest way to do that is to write so I make beats. So making a beat around a sample, adding all these layers and then removing the sample. And then you have a beat. And then maybe you need to add stuff to it. But that's like a simple way of getting a song started and when you don't necessarily know what to do. But when I say make bad music on purpose, sometimes you have to just get the junk ideas out of your head, or not even ideas, just the junk energy out of your head to clear way for something that you actually really like. So when I say make bad music on purpose, I literally mean you can go to your keyboard and just smash it, like maybe like pull up all the same instruments that you normally would if you're making beats, like the same pad, the same drums, whatever, and just smash your keyboard, put them all together and just see what it sounds like. It's probably going to be bad because you're just smashing your keyboard. But music is subjective. I'm not saying that people will like that, but if you've heard of the album Trout Mass Replica, that album by Captain Beefheart is one of the craziest albums ever. I highly recommend listening to it if you haven't. Most people, they're going to hear that and they're going to be like, this sounds like garbage. It's the band's not playing together. They're all playing out of sync. The tuning is not correct. Everything just sounds off. But the story behind that album is the band put months and months of non-stop hours, day in and day out, learning that album, recording it, and then that ended up being one of Captain Beefheart's most famous albums. And it's one of the most famous avant-garde albums of all time. So you can put hundreds and hundreds of hours into something that you really think is good. It's your singular vision. And then people think it sounds like shit. So the process is really for you. The process is not for everybody else. So it doesn't really matter how you get to the end goal. And what the end goal is, what you think it is not going to be what everybody else thinks it is. So again, making bad music on purpose, the purpose of this is to just get the juices flowing. Tell yourself things that you don't like. Because if you're trying to make things that you like and they're coming out in a way that you don't like, then there's some sort of disconnect between your mind and how you're actually creating the song. Another way you can make bad music on purpose is make the poppiest song that you can possibly make. This is something that I've been trying to do recently. And if you're not somebody who normally makes extremely simple pop music, you can really learn a lot from doing that. Because if you think pop music is bad, then it's easy to make. That's always the critique that people have is like, oh, this song is so simple. Anyone can make this. Okay, well then make it. You make it. Doesn't mean you have to release it. Doesn't mean you have to put your name behind it. But I think making extremely accessible, simple pop music, if that's not what you normally do, is a really good way to figure out where your limit is, like where your boundary is. Because you might actually find it's harder than you think to do. Not because it's like technically difficult or because it's like because of music theory or any sort of like technical reason. It's just like to bring yourself to make something that's that simple is hard. You're going to want to add things. You're going to keep wanting to embellish the song to make it sound better. And that's the whole point of what I'm saying. The whole point is to basically trick yourself into making the actual music you want. Because if you're anything like me, creative ideas are subjective and they come and go. So they can be very fleeting. So getting locked into one creative idea usually is not good and usually doesn't end in a way that I would want it to, you know? So I think the pop music example is good for me because it really forces me to figure out what I'm trying to even do. Because if you're really trying to strip something down and make it as simple as possible, you're going to hear it and you're going to start to rebel against yourself and be like, no, this is too simple. I need to add this. No, this drum part is way too basic. I want to like add a little fluttering in there. I want to add like another hi-hat pattern to make it sound more interesting. Or maybe you'll make a super simple drum part, just like kick on 1 and 3, snare on 2 and 4, hi-hat, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. And then maybe you're like, oh, actually, this is all this beat needs. This is all this song really needed. And it opens up your mind to start to do other things. Or like I said, if you normally make super accessible pop music, trying to make something that you think sounds bad because it's not accessible, that can be a good challenge too, because you're going to take it too far left and your brain's naturally going to want to keep pulling it back. And just that force and resistance is going to get your brain juices flowing to figure out an idea that you actually want. Because if you hear something that's kind of what you want, but it's not actually what you want, you might just keep going down that path because you think you're doing the right thing. And then at the end, you're like, I don't even know what's up anymore with this song. I don't really know what to do with it because it was mid the whole time. Right? But if it's bad, if it's bad to your ear, there's going to be a lot of things that you can fix. You know what I mean? Like if you make a song and you don't listen to it for a couple days and you come back to it, you're like, damn, this is bad. Like this sounds awful. You're going to be able to pick out like, all right, this chord is not in the right key, so I'm taking this chord out. This drum part is not synced up the way I thought it was or the way it should be, so I'm going to change that. And then you actually have like actionable ways to improve your music. Otherwise, you're just, doing what you think you're supposed to be doing. And again, sometimes that works out. For most people, that works out. But this video is for people that are trying to make good music and it's coming out bad. It's coming out not how they want it to come out. You just got to shake up your process a little bit. That's really all it can take. Something that simple. You don't have to do this every time you make a song either. You can do it once or twice. And even that can be enough to just like jog your brain and put you on a different path and then give you a little bit more focus. Because as consumers of music, a lot of times it's easy for us to spot things that we think we don't like, right? Like there's certain bands and artists or songs that when you hear a song for the first time, it's so quick to be like, oh, I don't like this. This sounds horrible, But then the more you listen to it as time progresses, you might appreciate it on a deeper level and be like, actually, I do like this. My brain just like wasn't ready to process it in the way that I needed to. I feel like it's less common for you to hear something and immediately be like, this is the best song ever. And then like down the road, be like, actually, I hate this song. And if that is the case, it's probably just because you listen to it too much or it reminds you of a specific time in your life, something like that. But anyway, that's my advice for this video. I hope you get some inspiration out of it. I'm just trying to make good music that I like. And I hope that you guys can also make good music that you like. Got some new viewers on this channel. If you're new to the channel, welcome in. I hope you've been enjoying that video I did recently about new music producers being lame as fuck. Got a lot of attention on the internet. I wasn't expecting that, but pretty cool. Yeah, hope you guys are enjoying the videos. I put out a new video every Sunday, so I'll see you next week.